This is a presentation comparing the new general education curriculum called Pathways to the old general education curriculum called CLE. This is directed toward faculty advisors in the Department of Psychology. I did a similar presentation last summer, but this is updated to reflect some new things that HokiSpa and the degree audit system allows us to do in helping our students. I'm recording this on August 19th, and just the other day, Courtney put in all of your mailboxes our new guides, which are, compared to the old ones, these are a little bit shorter and fairly bare bones. And I would ask you to, in particular, look at pages 9 through 11. I think you guys could actually read the whole guides, but if you're familiar with the old guides, I think pages 9 through 11 will show you the differences in the curricula, what's changed in psychology specifically, and what is changing with respect to the general education. Fall 2018 and fall 2019 freshmen, so freshmen who entered last fall, freshmen who are coming this fall, they are on the Pathways to General Education curriculum. And for this year, it's the orange font book, and transfer students and all continuing students who came in before fall of 2018 are on the old, quote-unquote old, CLE Gen Ed. And this makes it complicated, and that's why I want to help you. The first question when a student enters our office for advising, our first question has to be, when did you come in? And were you a freshman when you came in, or a first-year transfer student? And hopefully they know whether they're doing CLE or Pathways. Okay, I went over this before, and I'm going to do this quickly. I went over this last year. I'm going to try to do the rest of this relatively quickly. Here are the differences between the old CLE and the new Pathways. Largely similar. There's not a ton differences, but there are a ton of differences, but there are a couple, and I've underlined them. So we had a discourse requirement, we still do, but now there's 3 credits have to be at the advanced or applied level. Courses like technical writing would be an example. Ideas, cultural traditions, values, a new name, but very, very similar. Same thing with Area 3, now Core Concept 3, very similar, new name. Sciences are a little bit different, and I do want to explain that a little bit. Science was a year of introductory science with labs. They did a lot of the sciences, or at least a few of the sciences, did not put their labs in the Pathways Gen Ed. So now we are going to do just 6 credits, reasoning in the natural sciences, any 6 credits, and then our additional science requirement is going to be with labs. So it's fundamentally not really a difference from the old requirement to the new requirement, but the sciences are going to appear in different categories on a degree audit. Quantitative. So it used to be 6 credits, now it's 9, because they want 3 credits of advanced or applied. I'll actually show you an example of that at the end of this presentation. Art, they want 6 credits instead of just 3. And then the critical issues in global context has been replaced by identity and equity in the United States. Kind of like the old version, in this one there are some choices where students can actually double count a class as Core Concept 7 and something else. Like I teach, my environmental class is Pathways 3 and 7, and there are several that are like that. I want to walk you through degree audit. And last year I said, well, we have to be really, really careful about advising because we have different students with different educational requirements, general education, and I said that already. And then I said last year, the new Pathways doesn't appear in the degree audit system. That's still kind of true, but not fully. If we take an extra step on the DARS menus and we go to something called Pathways Planners, we actually can help advise students who are on this new general education system. And that's what I want to walk you through. I'm going to try to pick up speed here for a moment because I'm going to assume that most of you have ordered and looked at degree audits. But I am going to refresh your memories if you haven't done one in a while, or maybe for folks who've never looked at a degree audit for a student, I'll walk you through it and maybe you can look at this a couple times. So if I want to get a degree audit, just a simple degree audit, I'm not talking about Pathways Planners yet at all. I go to HokiSpa or Faculty Access particularly, and I'm going to go to Faculty and Advisor Student menu, and then about halfway down is going to be the DARS menu, Degree Audit Reporting System and Pathways Planner. And so I will click on that. That's my second step. And then I will get a screen that looks like what's on the left half of this. And it's going to be fairly blank, fairly sparse, and I'm going to click on Students, that icon right in the middle, and then I'll get a screen that looks like this. If I know the student ID number or I have it somewhere, I can paste it in here. I usually just type in people's names. So I'm going to pick on a senior I know, and I'm going to type in one and search for one, and then I'm going to get an audit. There are a couple things I've actually done before this screen, but hopefully they'll be pretty obvious. There's like a select button. It looks like a play button, like a little triangle facing to the right. So I click on that, and then the next screen comes up. I click on Run Audit, and then I get this. I've run the audit, and it's actually here. So all I have to do from this point, I usually click on this, BS Psychology. I could also click on View Audit. It'll take me to the exact same place. I don't know why they have it twice. I could also delete it later if I didn't want to know that I ordered one, or I didn't want to clutter his audits up. But I would click BS Psychology, and then that will take me to this. I think you've all done this. I think almost all of you know what this is about. But basically, when I'm looking at a degree audit, for the most part, I'm just hunting for X's. This X will always be here. That's 120 hours until like the very, very last semester. I'll have a better example later, but if something is in progress during a semester, it's ... means that's in progress, and it's going to be blue. Check marks means that they're done. X's means that so he's not done with his psych major requirements, and I haven't opened it up, so I don't know what he's missing. If I want to open it up, I just click on the little arrow thing there, a little caret. And same thing with additional computer science, stat, philosophy, which I think we all know kind of often comes toward the end. So that's his audit, and I can open any of these up. If I want to open everything up, I can click up here to open all sections, and that can be helpful particularly for someone who's early on or maybe halfway through the requirements. And that's a degree audit. Pretty straightforward, and hopefully many of you have done this. It's great. It's very easy to manage, easy to read. Now, what if I have a student who came in fall 18 or fall 19, and they're not a transfer student? They came in as a first-year freshman, quote unquote, in fall 18 or fall 19. So Marilyn Bigger is an example, someone I know, and I want to look. I know that she's on Pathways. She's not on CLE, so the DARS won't really work well for her. CLE and Pathways are close, but they're not exactly the same. So what I want to do is I'm going to type in her name, I'm going to hit search, and then I'll click on that select button, that little triangle, and that will take me to here. But instead of running an audit, or even I could do it after I run the audit, but instead of running an audit, I'm going to click on Pathways Planner, which is located at the very top. And probably I'm going to have to do another step. And I should warn you, this is a little slow. It takes a few seconds for this Pathways Planner screen to come up and then for the next screen to come up. Probably she won't have a plan. Most students are not planning out their courses in advance, or at least, well, the second years have not really done that using this system, because this option didn't exist last year. So probably what I'm going to have to do is create a new plan. There won't be any plans here, so I have to create a new one. I'm going to include my name so she doesn't get freaked out that someone's doing this plan for her. So I'll say Hoffman Test, and you can have this term be whatever you want. I usually keep it at the current term or the entering term for that student, like when they first started at Tech. And then you say, well, they're going to graduate in 4 years. And then I click on Add Plan, and that takes me to her Pathways Planner. Now this looks more complicated than a degree audit, but really if we focus on just the left side, it is a degree audit, but it's a degree audit for Pathways. So critical thinking in the humanities is not what CLE Area 2 is. That's the ideas, cultural traditions, and values. So critical thinking in the humanities is what appears here. Reasoning in the social sciences is the new core concept 3. So these will be a little bit different. And here is one difference. Quantitative and computational thinking. It's a little odd to see this as an X because Marilyn is a second-year student, actually, and I was expecting this to be fulfilled maybe, but it's not. So I click on it, and why isn't it fulfilled? Well, she did the first level that we're all used to. She had advanced standing for Math 10 for pre-calculus, and then she took calculus. She's all done. She got an A. Good for her. And but she still needs 3 hours of advanced quantitative and computational thinking. I will say that as of now, August of 2019, this is not perfect. There are a couple glitches. Our official requirements for 2022 graduates don't exist yet officially, and that's true across campus. So the registrar and the Pathways group have kind of done their best to anticipate, with our help, with the department's help, what are our requirements going to be. And there are some glitches. There's a glitch in the science. There's a glitch in this advanced quantitative. And I'm going to try to take care of that, hopefully by course request in October. However, this is still actually, I think, very useful and a good way of looking at things graphically, particularly for those of us who are used to using DARs. It's going to be very much the same format as we are accustomed to. Okay, and I'm going to take a pause here to say, for the most part, that's it. I'm going to go over a couple additional resources that you may or may not be asked about. But that's mostly what I wanted to say, is that we can look at these Pathways requirements using the degree audit system, or more specifically, Pathways planners. And if you have any questions at all, certainly feel free to email me or stop by my office. If a student has a question, though, about how to find Pathways planners, so let's say you're looking at, I'm sorry, not Pathways planners, Pathways courses, gen ed courses, you could certainly help him or her out with that. Most of them, I don't think, will have this question, but a couple of them might, particularly if you have a first-year student who comes to you and is a little bit confused. Certainly you need to use the timetable. The students need to use the timetable of classes, which can be found multiple places on Hokie Spa. It's always available at the very, very bottom under this black line. Sometimes it'll be about 4 or 5 over from the left. Click on that, and that'll pop up this thing. And then this is, you know, I'm sure most of you looked at this. You can look at it by subject, by department, or you can look at it by general education area. And we're talking about freshmen entering in fall 2018, fall 2019. They're definitely needing to focus on the Pathways courses. So this category here, curriculum for liberal education area or pathway to general education, they're going to be like 16, 17 choices here. And you want to make sure that they're clicking on the Pathways choices, not the CLE choices. And then that'll give them a list of what they could possibly take. And then it's business as usual. You look at the CRN number to see if there are any restrictions or to see what the class is about. And then if you like something, you go ahead and you add it. I often like to show folks, or at least tell folks, that they can go to the Pathways website. So if you want to look at Pathways to General Education, just do a Google search on our homepage, Pathways to General Education. Their website's pretty simple. It says pathwaysprovost.vt.edu. If I want to know whether a course is in Pathways, I just click on Course Catalog from their homepage, and that'll pop up with this, and it'll give a listing of all courses from Pathways 1 all the way to Pathways 7 at the end of the document. And I try to point out to students that there are these cool, I think they're really cool, Pathways minors, which are interdisciplinary minors where you get, I think, a good broad understanding of a specific topic. Particularly, I think a lot of them are focused on modern challenges. And while taking these interdisciplinary minors, they're also knocking out general education requirements. So this webpage, the Pathways Minors webpage, actually lists all of them. This is only the top of the list. There's about half of them here, I think. And our students are very interested in taking disability studies. Some of them are interested in taking organizational leadership. A lot of these are focused on things relating to environmentalism and kind of green planet in the 21st century. And I think they could be quite useful. So I often tell students about this. Okay, thank you for your attention. I hope you found the tour of the degree audits helpful. Thank you.